Why are manufacturing companies struggling to retain and recruit people? Even though our industry offers great pay, great careers, I mean, we know this. It can be a great lifestyle at some plants. Now, I have some opinions on that, but most companies are thinking, it's just the labor shortage. The other reasons could be generational, and maybe younger people just don't want to work anymore, that people are just on employment insurance or benefits. There's a lot of just opinions. And we want to figure out, like, what is the state of manufacturing? Because there are plants out there that are not having as much trouble retaining and recruiting people. So what's the difference, and where's the data on that? We see these statistics, where we talked about leadership. Your manager, your boss can have a 70% impact on whether you choose to leave the company or not. We talk about the Gallup engagement statistic of, for manufacturing, we're like 25% of the people are actively engaged in manufacturing, for that industry. So we got some statistics out there. What we really wanted to do was find out exactly, with a detailed research project, what is the state of manufacturing. Let's take away the opinions and let's get some data on what's really happening so we can know, where is manufacturing going, what are people thinking and doing that aren't working in manufacturing right now but could be. So it's Manufacturing Greatness, obviously, is our company, and we're partnering with the Center for Generational Kinetics, led by Jason Dorsey. Got to know Jason well, and he's been a partner with us on this ride. And then you may have heard me talk about crossover solutions. So Michael Forhan is a previous guest, great episode, and we've been partnering with them for many years, and they offer manufacturing companies all types of services, engineering to covering different types of manpower, and just solutions for manufacturing. They're a go-to. We trust them. They have very similar values to us. And we've been partnering on different projects. Diana Soros, my wife, she's out on a contract helping one of their clients right now, doing some production management coaching. We're going to partner with them on the research. So they are sponsoring this research project, which will be weaved into the book Manufacturing Greatness, coming out May 11th, 2027, which I'm currently doing the edits for. The reason that I'm having this episode today is because I want to involve you. The project itself, it's going to involve interviewing 1,250 participants. So 500 from Canada, 750 from the US. And then we'll have 1,250 people surveyed to get our North American. So essentially we'll have three different surveys in one, which I'm pretty excited about. Anybody filling out the survey is going to be willing to work in manufacturing or adjacent industries. Because if you're working in manufacturing, it could be, I came from logistics. My first 4 years was logistics and transportation, construction, energy. A lot of these fields cross each other. So we want to really uncover a few different main items. One is just like, what's causing the lack of applicants to the available workforce? And just having that goal of, we want to bring additional manufacturing back, right? Like more manufacturing in Canada and the US. This isn't just a lever we can just pull, right? It takes a lot of planning from an engineering and manufacturing, and the equipment to build it, the team to build it, the design of products. There's so much that goes into it, and you need time. But even with that, I think the recent number I just saw, not I think, I do know, it's 409,000. This was in 2025 that we saw open jobs in manufacturing in the US. So, hey, there's opportunities there. So it's going to be important to kind of figure out what is going on. And so that, if you're a plant manager or you're a CEO, a COO, an owner of a manufacturing company, and you're listening to this, you're going to have some very good data to understand that. And this is your opportunity to get involved. I want to know, what do you want to know? What would you want to ask and see out there? Now, keep in mind, this is people, not, some of them will be working in these industries, some of them will be thinking about it. And 25 of the questions are going to be more the yes and no type questions and rating questions. So it won't be a bunch of writing. So you can't have just open-ended questions like, what do you think about manufacturing? Those types of questions won't work. And I'll give you some examples. But I want to go back to the second reason that I think this survey is important, this research, is we have this raise of technology. It's fascinating, right? Manufacturing's fun. We get all these new technologies. I just like watching robots all moving like a dance inside the cell, sparks flying. It just keeps getting better and better. The concern that I have is that are we putting as much energy into the development of our people? And I'm talking from leadership to every team member there. Like, how are we investing into that? Are we checking the boxes on some standard training? Or are we really going into like, how do we connect? Because, from our model framework, we talk about three gaps and we talk about expectations, that space between what people expect and what they believe is expected and what you expect. We have the showing up gap, just that how am I impacting you, right? When we walk into a room, we change the temperature and we change the mood. So a lot of times our approach can impact the outcome. And the last one's accountability, which we believe accountability builds trust. When you have the showing up gap closed and the expectation gap tightened, then we can really just talk about accountability. We got to talk about this. And if we don't hit it, we're going to have a conversation. That's the essence of it. So that's the foundation of what we believe is the problem. We just need to have three conversations we're not having. And so having some data to say, hey, this isn't woohoo, right? This isn't just, hey, let's just have some soft skills. It's not about that. I believe that this is going to turn into a crisis if we don't address this. We want to be able to be self-efficient in our own countries. And I like it when Canada and US get along because I go back and forth a lot. So I'm very North American. Like to see how can we all work together on this. So I want to share the other reason that I think this research is important is like we have capital and we can get approval if we have a return on investment for new equipment, new process upgrades. We win a launch, we win a project, and we're going to spend some money on the building, and then we've got some overhead. When it comes to really having that budget line for the leaders, like how are we investing so that we can engage those teammates? Like, how do we connect the value, how people feel valued, and how important is that? So that opinion matters. So that's the third reason that we really want to understand that. I want to understand from a female perspective, like why are we not growing the percentage of women in manufacturing? That's a whole other podcast, which we have had some on. And then Gen Z or Gen Z, younger generation as well. So those are kind of like the three big reasons. And then, how are we going to apply this is that we want to share it with you, right? We want to make this information out there that it's accessible and we can help make better decisions now so that the state of manufacturing in the future is stable. So what's some maybe examples here? So I would like to see like X percentage do not feel manufacturing is flexible to their needs. X percentage of people don't see growth in leadership like capital or tech. X percentage expect leaders to have personal conversations. Ooh, that's one that I struggled with a little bit early on. X percentage would not stay in the industry with higher wages and a poor culture. Like, how important is that? Let's get some data on that. And do you view manufacturing as a dirty job, like using your hands? Because the reality is, we used to, in the 40s, hire part loaders. Well, now we're pretty much hiring operators. So there was a saying that you pay for the hands and you get the heart and mind for free. But I think that's really involved to one, we need the whole self because as a company, we need your ideas. We need people to contribute at all levels and to be competitive. And so we need that. But we need the culture, the structure, the framework, the leaders to be able to pull that out and make that happen. And that's the hard part. Easy in theory, but a little bit harder, but important. But I know that we can all do this. We can all bind together in this manufacturing community and figure out what are the main levers to pull to get the biggest outcome with like a little bit of ROI. Is it important for you to feel valued at work? How important is the clarity of expectations? How important is it that you clearly understand your company's mission and why your job matters? Those types of things. Categories, we're kind of looking at recruiting and screening, just the state of manufacturing as a career. retention, teamwork, and engagement, talent development. Those types of areas is what we want to do. So what I'm really looking for is to see, what are your thoughts? First of all, it's great if you're subscribed to the newsletter. So just manufacturinggreatness.com/subscribe. Link will be in the show notes here because that's going to be a weekly newsletter now. A lot of them will be tight tips, but the other ones will be just conversation, right? Creating that community conversation and get your input. So you can be part of this research. You can say, yeah, you know what? I contributed to that. And obviously, this is a space where we're going to share these results with you all. So I would really hope that you could just do that one action for me. Stop now, let's put on pause and just subscribe. Because if I don't have that, then we can't keep you updated and there's just going to be some great value for you to make your life better, right? Because when work is better, home is better. And we have that balance. And we can have that career in manufacturing and understand where it's going and we can really collaborate together. So I just send me your questions. Can't wait to hear about it. But the future of manufacturing won't be built on these better machines, right? It's going to be built by better conversations. And this is for manufacturing leadership, right? Where we're going in the future and where we are today. So I'm just really pumped. I'm grateful that Crossover is sponsoring this research. And I'm grateful that we have a great research company to work with. So this is exciting because I don't know of any other research that's like this. And this is why we're doing it. So excited to have you aboard. Keep on listening. We're going to drop these episodes every week. We usually have a guest every other week. I'll give you some personal updates here, and we'll see you soon.